Hey guys, and welcome to the recap where I aim to give you your weekly dose of Warcraft news, and this has been quite a week. Lots of awesome things have happened, especially with the PTR. So the first thing we have to talk about is the Timeless Isle. Now this was released this week, it's a new feature, and it's really fantastic. So it got, instead of doing the whole new sort of set of dailies and things, it follows a similar approach to Battlefield Barons in that it's more, sort of player agency. It's what you want to do instead of here's a list of tasks. So basically there's elite mobs hanging around all over the island. These have from 1.5 million to 7 million health, and they're just sort of scattered everywhere. They're sort of in themed little, little groups. But anyway, so when you kill one of these guys, you get a bunch of timeless coins. Now the weaker elites would give you about 60, 70, that sort of thing, and these are the currency for the island. With these coins you can buy quite a lot of interesting things, and I'll get onto that after I've covered all the sources of them. So you can also find chests lying around the place which contain coins, and a chance of getting item level 496 loot that is similar to the latent core crone gear. The loot also, so there's that. Now you can also find secrets. Now when I say secrets, not really that secret, like there's a big icon in your minimap to tell you they're there, but they're pretty fun. Now on my travels I found a whole bunch of them. There was a few jumping puzzle sort of deals. There was this like pseudo gambling game where you gambled your timeless coins for the possibility of getting new loot, gear and stuff. It was actually quite fun. And there's probably many more secret things that I just don't know about yet. Now about these coins, so you can buy a whole bunch of things with them. Currently what we are able to buy is, well, directly with the coins, is gear. Now this is item level 496, it costs 7,500 gear, and it will give you one piece of spec specific gear for one slot, so like helm, whatever, that sort of thing, and it follows your loot specialization. You can also buy Mogu Runes of Fate, or I'd assume the Siege of Orgrimmar equivalent of Mogu Runes of Fate, for 2,500 timeless coins. So even if you're not, even if you're a raider, there are still useful things to be found here, and you can greatly increase your chance of getting more gear in the raid, so that's really nice. Now there's also 5 world bosses. Each of these are pretty cool looking. There are 4, the 4 Celestials and Ordos, who's like some big fire god dude. So the Celestials can be defeated normally, just like any old world boss, but Ordos is only available to players with the legendary cloak. Now the island is actually involved in the quest to get the legendary cloak, and so is defeating the 4 Celestials. By the way, the Celestials aren't like evil or anything, it's literally just like a sort of combat proving grounds sort of thing. And speaking of proving grounds, this is a new feature in 5.4 that was released also in the PTR this week. Essentially you have 4 different modes. There's bronze, silver, gold and endless across each of the 3 roles. They get progressively harder, and they're designed to help players learn new specs and roles, that kind of thing, while not screwing up a group completely. So far I think this is actually one of the best features they've added all expansion, and I know there's a lot of random QQ in the forums and stuff, but that's just idiots. To be honest, what this is going to do is it's going to let people test out specs, test out stuff like that, in a way that doesn't fuck up people's groups. So hopefully you'll have, people don't have an excuse to select a role like healing or something, and just sort of fudge it through a group. You now have no excuse to do that. You should go to Proving Grounds and learn your shit. And they will teach you well. As an example, I don't know how to tank. I have not tanked since Wrath of the Lich King, yet I go into Proving Grounds, I do it a few times, and now I know how to tank as a warrior. So yeah, it's a pretty fantastic feature. There was some concern about people would be using other people's endless Proving Ground scores as a gateway to get into pugs. Honestly, I think that this, of course it's not good, but it's better than the achievement way of getting into a pug, which essentially meant that you couldn't get the achievement because you couldn't get into the pug, so it was like a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy sort of deal. Now with this, at least people will be able to go off solo and do something which will get them recognition to get into pugs. They can at least prove their salt, and it doesn't affect other players, but is still meaningful, so that's very good. Now the next thing we have is mounts. We found quite a bit of stuff about new mounts this week. There are a number of unnamed PvP serpents. We don't know how you'll get them, but personally I'm assuming that these are going to be like for the top 1,000 teams or that sort of thing. And there's also 2 other mounts, the Vicious Skeletal Warhorse and the Vicious Warsaber. Now these, the Warhorse and the Warsaber, are gained by doing either 40, so I believe winning 40 rated battlegrounds in a season, or winning 100 3v3s. Now in terms of how the mounts look, I think the Black Serpent's probably the best one, followed by the Warsaber, but in general they all look pretty cool. And next up we have vanity items. This was the big controversy of the week, in that they're selling new vanity helms called the Jewel of the Fire Lord, Hood of Hungering Darkness and the Crown of Eternal Winter, and these went on sale earlier in the week for €12, $15 or £10. Now in my opinion these cost far too much for a fake helm in a game. But hey, Blizzard seems to be able to make shit like this work. Now there's a Warcraft Daily a few days ago where I pretty much rant on the pricing for a good 5-6 minutes, so if you want to do that, then go look at the channel. And finally we have armor. So a few new armor sets appear. These are for the tier 16 monk, which I think is extremely boring, and the season 14 mage, which I think is probably one of the cooler armor sets to come out this tier. So that's really it for today's recap. Not massively long, but I think there's lots of interesting things that happen this week, and I'll hopefully be bringing you more coverage on them. The next sort of big goal is to get all of the world bosses covered, and then we'll see what takes us from there. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Please like if you liked the video, which I'm sure you did, and subscribe. Help me out a lot. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.